Hi guys, PJ here. Today I am working on a 2015 MG6. Putting a dash cam into this on the front window screen, and I'm going to show you how to wire it to the vehicle's fuse box so that it goes on and off with the ignition key. Also, you won't see any wiring, it'll all be tucked away nicely, and what we're aiming for is a factory fit finish. So, before we start, I just need to mention that I am held no way liable or responsible for any injury to yourself or damage to your vehicle by following this video guide. Right, so handy things to have before you start fitting your camera are a fitting kit, which are available from most makes, brands, Garmin, Kenwood, Halfords, Nextbase, Blackview, etc. Most of them have a mini USB on the end of them, like so, and on the other hand, we have a power and an earth cable which goes to chassis earth. Okay, and you will also get, or should get, some fuse spurs. Now, most cars are mini blade, which is this size. Some are micro blade, which is smaller, and some, or commercial vehicles, are the larger ones, like so. On an MG6, we should be using the mini blade. I will be checking shortly. And what this does basically is double a socket up, so that one fuse socket turns into a double, a bit like the mains extensions that you have in your home. 2 or 3 amp fuse there runs the camera, slot next to it is for the fuse that you pull out of the fuse box when you've found an accessory position switched live. Now, I will just stress that it must be an accessory fuse that you use, nothing for airbags, ABS or engine management, nothing like that. Accessory position only. Okay, so you need that. Handy things to have when doing the job are obviously a multimeter for testing your fuses. You see what goes on and off with the ignition. If you haven't got one of them, a test probe will do. You know the little screwdrivers with a light bulb in the end? You just touch the end of the fuse. So like, there's your fuse. If you're in your fuse box, touch the end of it. And with the ignition off, you want to see no voltage. With the ignition on, you want to see voltage. Okay, nice and simple. Electrical tape, just for tidying up. A pair of long nose pliers, because sometimes the fuses can be a sod to get out of the holders. There is a little plastic device comes with the car, but let's face it, they're not too great, so you can grab a fuse easily with those and pull it out. Some snips in case we need to modify the wiring, especially the earth wire. And these are a godsend. Plastic leverage tools. These are Bojo tools, and basically they're for levering plastic trim so that you don't damage it. Under no circumstances use a screwdriver to prise any plastic trim. It will 100% damage it, and it's damaged for life. So invest in these, about £1, eBay, Amazon. If not these, get something similar. Firm plastic, good for levering. Yeah, sort of. You can put them in a crevice and just pop nice and easily. Which leads me on to the first part of the job. Nice to have is, I'll just grab some cable ties. Now you're thinking, okay, is this to suspend the wire? No, it's not. On your cable that goes to the actual camera on the USB end, it tucks up behind your headline in your car. Well, it's quite thin and can fall down when you hit a pothole, so it's dangling in front of the window screen. If you wrap these around the cable, it just beefs it up a bit and packs it out so it sits up there better. I'll show you what I mean. Like so. So wrap a cable tie around it, nearish the end. Snip the cable tie, and then you'll notice they're quite sharp when you've snipped it off. So what I normally do is wrap some electrical tape around them just to pad them out, because your headlining is made of like a fibre card substance. You don't want it wearing it from the inside out. On the end here we've got a ferrite filter wrapped around the cable there. That's to stop interference with DAB radios. I wouldn't say it stops interference, but it can certainly help. Next up, when we finish trimming these 2 cable ties, we'll tuck this up above the headlining. So with cable nicely finished, if you grab the rubber trim, these can be on quite well, so give it a firm pull it off all the way up to the top, right up to sort of here, the top of the screen pillar. And then we're going to get our plastic leverage device and pop this end panel off. It's on clips. There we go. Just be careful with it, because the clips are quite firm. You'll need both hands, guys. Now when they've all come off, there's your clips, look, all the way around the edge. Just leave it dangling. Don't unplug this, because otherwise you'll have an airbag warning light come on and you'll probably have to pay a garage to turn it off. At this point you can actually see the fuse box. It's tucked right down there, and to get to that we remove the panel up and under the dashboard here, which is held on with a couple of Phillips screws. These bolts are ideal earthing points, so we'll be taking one of those out for the earth, in other words the black wire on the end of your fitting kit will go to one of these bolts. At the top of the window screen at the moment, there's your rear view mirror. So there's our cable dangling down. With the headlining, you can normally put your fingers just on the edge of it and ease it very carefully down a little tiny bit. Now, like I say, they're only made of a fibre substance, so please don't go at it like a bull in a china shop. Just a bit of care, yeah? Pull it down, tuck your cable with your little, little cable ties on that you've made up along it, all the way along the edge, till you get to this corner. Then, because you've pulled your rubber seal off, get your thumb behind it, give it a bit of a pull. Then you want a little tiny gap, like so. Tuck your cable down, and then pull it back up so it sort of sits here quite high. Your airbag sort of starts from here downwards, so it's not going to interfere with that. And to be honest with you, even if it was in front of it, with an airbag the way they go off, it would soon move a bit of wire out of the way. I've test deployed them over the years working in the trade, and they go off with some force. Anyway, that's digressing. Let's put your cable down all the way down the edge, right on the very, very edge of the trim pillar, until we get to the area at the side of the dash that we've pulled off to get to here. Back in the footwell, to take out the fuse box cover, like I say, you've got a couple of little Phillips screws here to take out, and then we can quite literally pop the cover down out the way to show the fuse box. Next up, we're going to remove one of these 10mm bolts. There are two. Your dashboard's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to move, so I'm not going to worry about that. Just take the bolt out completely and use that as your earthing point. Careful you don't drop the bolt, because if it goes down behind any of the plastic trim, it can be an absolute bugger to get back out again. So we take that out completely, and then we slide the earth cable. I've put actually a ring terminal on the end of this so it's a bit more secure over it, and then a washer after that, just so it sits nicely and doesn't trap inside and snap the cable. You don't have to do that, it's just I've been doing this for years, and I like to make sure things are secure and nice. There we go. Earth connection nicely done, straight to the chassis, good earthing point. Now you've got your power cable, which you feed through the gap behind the glove box, drop it down into the footwell. Hang on, let me get it in view on the camera for you. There you go, down here, just drop it down to there. You notice I've left the lower trim hanging, it's got a plastic clip at the back of it holding it in. You don't technically need to remove it at all, there's ample gap to just leave it down like that and get to the fuses. So we're going to pop this down below before we test the fuse box. So first things first, get your multimeter or your test probe, whichever. Ignition off, yeah. We need it to be reading 0, basically, when we touch the fuse. Now, depending where your car's built, what part of the world, etc., and what spec and layout it is, your fuse box could differ. So it is quite important that you check your fuses yourself and not just directly copy what I'm doing. I've done a lot of these in the past, and some of the 12-volt sockets on them are live all the time. So what I normally do is go for an accessory fuse such as electric windows, that type of thing. They're only powered when the ignition is on. So if we go for F8, fuse F8 on this particular one, which is a 30 amp green, touch that, like so, ignition off, and that'll do fine on this particular car. No voltage at all when touched. Well, after looking at the options spec on this car, we're going to go for fuse F9, because I like to use the lowest amp possible. It's a 5 amp, if I can get the camera in view. 5 amp there, and that's 0 voltage with ignition off, 12 volt with ignition on. That's the one we're going to be using. We're pulling that fuse out right now. There we go. Fuse is pulled out, we've plugged it in next to the camera fuse, so we've got camera fuse and we've got 5 amp. Like I just briefly touched on, I like to use one that's as lower volts as possible, lower amps as possible. The 30 amp next to it's quite a big chunky fuse. The rating on these things isn't too high, so with the 5 amp in we've got a nice safety margin there. That'll be a lovely job. That goes on and off with the ignition, not a problem. They don't actually supply the rating of these fuse spurs in the box, but best guess tells me that cable's about 8 amp, so 30 amp fuse in it's probably not going to be too good. It doesn't say, unfortunately, that's something we don't know. There's no spec on the damn things. But we'll put a 5 amp in, 2 amp to run the camera, plug that back in where the fuse came from, and see if it all works. And there's the cable all tidied up and plugged in, ready to go. Just cable tidied up to keep it safe before we give the camera a try. Okay, so ignition on. camera on. There we go. And it's got a nice little charge icon in the corner there. If you can see that, just showing it's charging. And if we turn off, the camera will go off. Camera off. So you're now free to go and put everything back together again, tidy everything up. At the side of the dashboard here, we've tidied the extra cable up, the excess stuff, and you can go ahead and pop your trim back on. Please note the top lug goes up, under and behind the trim panel there. I'm going to need both hands to do this, guys, so and also that front lug there, look, up and under, yeah. So I'll do that with both hands, and then we've just got to pop the screws in the fuse box cover. Trim on, and then your rubber seal back on as well. Give that a bit of a tap so it sits nicely all the way around, and obviously pop your little cover back up. It clips as well as screws. Pop your 2 screws back in, and that is it. That is how you fit a dash cam on an MG6. If you've got any questions about this car or any other, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them for you. I do get a lot of questions every single day, so bear with me on that one. Thanks a lot for your time, and goodbye for now.